What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Karl
And Mike Stadler.
Thanks for listening today. We've got another question from you guys. Now, this one, Mike, we talk about percentages all the time, right? You know, when we're sitting on tree stands.
Yes.
The question is, what do you mean when you say percentage of chance, and how do you figure out the percentage for each sit? Okay, so I would venture to say that this person was a mathematician.
I can give you two percentages right now.
Yep.
You have a 0% chance if
0%.
you are not in a stand somewhere.
Correct.
You have a 100% better chance if you are in a stand somewhere.
You know what? That's a very good point.
It's probably a horrible answer.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it makes sense, but... All right, let's talk about how I figure a percentage, okay? So number one, let's just say we'll start at 0. You got 0% if you don't go like Mike said, right? So if I have a tree stand that I know I can get to because of wind direction, that's 50% right there. In and out without getting picked up, right? Because I have to get in and then get back out. To me, that's 25% each way. Okay, now we're going to talk about while you're in the stand. So are you going to a stand that you have no information on? So Mike, you're going to go just sit, I don't know, let's just say your main trail over here where the corner drops off, not too far off the bedding area, and you think the wind is right. Are you going to go just sit there because the wind is right? Or are you going to go sit there because you have pictures on your cameras of a deer you want to shoot?
Well, the pictures are nice.
Yep.
But I don't care that I have pictures of it.
Right. What if it's consistent?
I mean, if it's consistent...
That's different.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, is the wind right that I can get in the stand?
Yeah.
Is it only the morning I can get in it and I have pictures of him at night?
Mm-hmm.
Is it only night I have pictures of him, but he's there in the morning?
Right.
Or I can only get in the morning? I guess, you know. I'm not sitting it unless I gotta be able to get in and out of it, first of all. Mm-hmm. Whether or not he's there or not. Like if I say the deer pictures are 50 yards away by another stand, but I can't get in that stand. Mm-hmm. But I can get in this one.
Yep.
50 yards up the ridge, safely, in and out. I'm going to sit that stand every time.
Mm-hmm. And your percentage is going to be higher.
The percentage is going to be higher because I'm not going to blow them out of there.
Right.
So, you know, and I've taken some chances.
Right.
I've taken a few chances.
Few chances.
And it can work, or
yeah.
it cannot work, but yeah. Anything that works in your favor is just ups your percentage. I mean, your percentage anyway is low. It's low, no matter what, when you go out.
You don't even, in my view, unless I've got pictures, say I'm hunting a certain deer, unless I have pictures of that animal right there, I don't even have a 50% chance on that animal as far as I'm concerned when I walk in there. So when I walk in there, I'm either walking in there to try and educate myself for a certain reason, right? I'm thinking, okay, I've had mature deer come through here at this time of year before, I'm going to go sit here and kind of do a scouting mission. I can get in and out of this without educating them.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes I'll do that on purpose because number one, I want to be in the woods, but number two, I can't get to where I think I can kill a certain deer I'm trying to chase.
Yeah, and you want to.
I do.
You can't get in there.
Yeah, don't ruin it and go in there.
That's a lesson I've taught myself over the last few years, is that you're a lot better chance to stay out of there. Like you say, if you can get somewhere and you can observe someplace that you think you want to get into,
right?
You know, and see what's going on, see where they're coming from, see where they're going.
Yep.
You know, maybe you have a camera in there that you have to physically check.
Yep.
You know, and then you can set a plan. Either check that on the way in or check that on the way out.
Yep.
Or change that card, whichever it is.
This is one thing I will argue with people. People, you know, entrance and exit routes, people talk about how important they are, and they're very, very important, don't get me wrong. But even if you have really, really good entrance and exit routes, as far as I'm concerned, every time you walk in the woods, you're educating the deer.
Correct. They're watching you. Something's watching.
And they'll argue. People will argue about it. There's no way that you can get here or there or this, that, and the other thing. Well, okay, so maybe I'm not educating the deer because I'm going up the property line with a west wind. on my property, but the neighboring property has also the deer I hunt, correct?
Correct.
And it's blowing the wind right into that property, you know? So I'm not educating the deer that are physically at that time on my property, but I'm educating the deer that are next to my property, right?
Yes.
And those deer travel onto my property. So you're never not educating a deer. Never think that. How much are they going to tolerate? It depends on the deer.
Depends where they can go to.
Correct. I try not to ever educate where I think my bigger adult deer are. I don't worry as much about fawns and does. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But bucks, mature bucks, I worry. That's my number one priority.
Fawns can care less.
Oh yeah, no,
They do not care.
They'll walk right up to your tree.
You know, most does, I mean, they're going to run.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to leave your property. They really don't. My opinion, they're not going to leave your property.
No, I watched something the other day, and the guy is more knowledgeable than I am, I think. And he said if a deer sees you or smells you or whatever, that deer's going to run a half mile. I'm going to say here in southern Wisconsin, number one, if a deer ran a half mile from your property here,
It's gone.
yeah, it's way gone.
Yeah.
A half mile on my property, like you said before, your property is surrounded by your property. I've never seen a deer, I think, that spooked run out there and physically watch them run maybe 400 yards and stop 300 yards. And they're comfortable again, so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, percentages are hard. Obviously, I think your percentages go up. I don't know that we want to blend this into with our fronts, but you know, your weather plays a huge percentage if you're, you know, where
Right.
you're going to go. What you're going to say, time of year
Yeah,
ups your percentages.
big time.
You know, I guess what are you out there to do? Are you looking to harvest does
Yeah,
early or late, depending upon when you want to do them?
right.
You know, are your certain bucks even up on their feet at that time of year? So, you know, like there's areas on your property, there's areas on my property that we just stay out of.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, because your percentages only have a chance to usually go down.
Right.
You usually can't make them go up.
No, normal deer movement, if you're going in and out, you're interrupting their life. They don't interrupt our life, we interrupt theirs.
Correct, that's for sure.
So that's something you really got to watch for. Percentage wise, for me, every time I educate a deer, I think I lose at least 10%.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent too to keep your percentage as high as it can be. Make sure everywhere you go is calculated.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure everything is smart. Don't just go like, and you and I are hugely guilty of this, just going to the woods to get in the woods.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Because I love being in the woods.
Maybe not as much as we used to.
Yeah, you like going in the woods, Carl?
Yeah, just a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's all right.
Yeah.
So, and this is a problem. I did it a ton. I know Carl's done it a ton. Like, I just want to get in the woods. I want to get in the woods, and then you end up wrecking
Yeah.
everything because you think you got to sit in there, and then you're mad anyway.
Yeah.
Because you usually probably don't see nothing.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I did this a lot last year. Like, I completely stayed out of the bottom of my property.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like, nah, and you want to go.
Until it
I'm
was
like,
time.
Until it was time. I went in, and it was that night. I had a deer on camera the day before. Went in, he was there that night. I got him that night, and I was back.
Night.
Yep.
It was
So,
untouched,
we're gonna get
and
him out of
that
here,
plot was full of deer
And, we'll take some better
all year
pictures
long.
in the morning. but-
Pretty much. Yeah.
into the winter.
Pictures all over the place.
You know, so it's
That's the same with my property. Just like what Mike said, I do not usually go up into my woods until October 20th. I will not go up into the upper level where I know the bedding areas are until after October 20th. And I'll be honest, I never hunted up there until you and I had both shot deer.
Yep.
And then I went up when we came back from North Dakota when we were during muzzleloader season and we were bow hunting. I went up there, seen a nice pulpy young deer, but chose not to shoot him.
Yep.
And then you seen that giant down in the bottom that night too.
Yes.
So, you know, percentage wise, the percentage of chance is based off of what we know the deer do, what we're seeing on our cameras, and our visualization of being able to get in and get back out of there.
Use the tools to help your percentages go up. Use your binos. I see guys that don't hunt with a set of binos. Or set a stand way back that you know that you're not going to disturb anything, and just watch. Just sit there and watch, because you're doing just as much hunting by not hunting as you are when you're hunting.
Yeah, don't be afraid to set observation stands, because you can learn more with an observation stand than you would be surprised how much you can learn from 150 yards away from a certain maybe food plot edge or tree or trail entrance and exit.
Right.
Especially if they get consistent.
Definitely using that kind of stuff ups your percentages per se.
Yeah.
You utilize your cameras.
Yep.
If you have cell cameras, awesome, because you can stay away from them, which is nice. I have them. Quite a few of them. They're nice. Like Carl's property, they're not going to work there.
Right.
So we got to get in and out to check them, but you got to get in and out to check them when it's time to get in and out, check them. Don't just tromp in there like, I'm going to check 10 cameras today.
Right.
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Check the camera when you can get to it.
Right.
Like especially if you can hunt there that night.
The only time we really check cameras on my property, especially after October 20th, is I'll tell Mike, I'll grab him 5 chips or whatever, grab these cameras on the way out, I'm going to do these down low. Yep. That way we check 10 to 12 cameras in one hunt. Yep. Now whether or not we shoot anything that night is whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But now we've got a ton of intel based off of what we're seeing on the cameras, and we can decide whether or not we can go. So that's kind of the way I look at the percentages and figuring out. Oh, and don't set stands percentage-wise. Don't set stands where you're just kind of willy-nilly setting them because you think, deer travel through there all the time. Set a camera in there first and then educate yourself before you set a stand. And then when you're standing in that spot, assess what you think the best wind direction is going to be. And most importantly at my place and even here at Mike's, because we have elevation change. So morning thermals, evening thermals, east, west, north, south movement. In other words, wind movement. Don't go into a tree stand that there's a storm coming and the wind's starting out of the west.
And it's going to
finish out of the east. Yeah. Don't do that. And here in southern Wisconsin, if there's a weather front moving in, you're going to get an east wind. I'm just throwing it out. And kick it around. Let me know what you think.
Gary Canolti over there.
Yeah, there's that guy.
I like it.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's... there's a lot to think about, and that's kind of some of the stuff we do to do it. You guys, I kind of asked in here, I don't know if we actually answered it, but how do I figure out a percentage for a sit? Like I said, if I can get in and out, that's 50%. If I can get in and out, and I know deer movement starts at like 5:30 p.m. and ends at, let's just say for early hunting, 7:30, 7:45 in a food plot, and the deer are going to be moving past me at such and such time. That's another 15 to 20%, I guess I would say. Right. So that's how I kind of do it. There's no mathematical equation for us to figure out we got a 90% sit.
Yeah.
Weather's involved in that. If we got a good front moving in, we're going to give ourselves another 10 or 20% based off of how big the weather front is and the temperature changes.
Yeah.
Barometric pressure.
I would say for, percentage on a sit, like you say, you could make that, the high 90%. Like I know that I can sit this stand, but that because of wind direction, deer movement, etc. Percentage of chance.
That's a guess.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, what do you think your percentage of a chances in harvesting your target deer that night?
10%.
I was going to say 1 to 5%.
Yeah. Well, depending on what you got for
maybe
pictures.
10%. So it's never going to be high.
If it's 10, that's high.
Yeah. If it's 10, I'm in there.
Yeah. When I say a 90% sit, there's a 90% chance that I can go get in that tree without educating the deer, see deer come by me, and get back out. 90% chance. That's what I can do.
Yeah.
If I say 75% chance, well, that's pushing it anyway, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you got to be sure. You'd rather be safe,
right?
And you're I think this is a good way to look at it. If you keep your percentage for a sit, wherever that is, high, and that means exit, entry, wind, your percentage of chance, so harvest, goes up.
I agree.
So keep one high, and the other one will be as high as it can get.
That's true.
You know.
That's exactly right. And that's probably exactly how we think about it, just so you guys understand it. When we say 90% or 75%, that's what we're thinking when we do it. It's your chance to get in and out without educating deer more than it is actually your chance of shooting the animal. Hopefully that made sense to you.
Yes.
I mean, that's the easiest way to explain it, I think. You know? So that's what we mean by percentage chance when we're talking percentage of chance. We appreciate you guys listening to The Obsession. Hopefully that answered your question. I know it's not me saying I'm going to go in there and I got a 90% chance of shooting such and such deer. You know, that's you never have that. It's a wild animal. It's random, and it just goes and does what it wants to do. Okay, so that's how we look at it. You got anything to add on that?
No, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Keep subscribing. Get your friends to subscribe. We appreciate it.
Yep.
You know, love us or hate us, we'll take both.
Right, and we're always looking for you guys' input.
Yeah, we always are looking for questions. Anybody's got, we can try to answer them to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah, well, we've been doing it for 30 years. We shot quite a few good deer between the two of us. We got well over probably, what is it? Well, you got, I ain't gonna count yours, but I know I'm well up into the upper 50, 60 area. Yeah, right there. Yeah,
Sounds
so, yeah, we've shot over 100 really nice bucks, and between the two of us, so we have a little bit of knowledge we want to share with you guys, hopefully make you guys better hunters. So thanks for listening to The Obsession. Be sure to check out Rush Outdoors on YouTube. It's Rush Outdoors WI. We appreciate all you guys' support, and we'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
See you.